Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coldborough Farm, where I'm trying to load up the game because I need to do a few things before I can officially start the stream. Oh, that's full, lovely. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over here and fast forward to daytime. Lovely, I'm now going to hop into the New Holland here. And whoever was here has left already. Wonderful. This could be a train wreck of a stream. I completely accept that as a risk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cheeky and use an edit I made last night. And just flat out unload the seeds into storage like this. They will go over into the pile, so if at some point in the future I want to use an edited or a modded thing or bucket of some description, I can. So I'm not cheating too much by putting seeds in there. I've just added them into the silo system, the official one of the map, and they will still pop up over here. It's just the way that I've got it working right now. So over here we go to the Massey Ferguson, which is up at the top of the field here. Lovely. I've got a cup of tea today, by the way. It is in my average sized cup. In fact, this is a big cup, I'm not gonna lie, but it's the cup that I prefer having tea in. Let's get everything going properly. It does help if I raise up the cultivator before I turn, because otherwise it'll cause a mess. There we go. Why is there music playing, or has there is, but it's very quiet. I was kind of concerned about that. It didn't sound like there's music playing at all, and I do prefer when there is music playing. And if you're in the stream, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitch, please do feel free to say hello. I don't think there's anybody actually on YouTube at the moment. I prefer to stream to actual people instead of an empty chat room. And I know that real life happens to people, and you know, people get busy, but do feel free to say hello. I know there are some people out there who prefer lurking. I'm most definitely one of them. I was just changing my mouse settings. Hey, Cheesy Biscuit Fingers. That is an amazing name. I'm good. You have a wonderful name, good sir. I completely approve. Mind you, why would anybody want cheesy biscuits? I know cheese is delicious and biscuits are delicious, but you have cheese on biscuits, not cheesy biscuits. That seems like a waste of good biscuits, or good cheese, one of the two. You have like cheese on crackers is a thing my mother has quite often. Actually, she has buttered crackers, which is really bizarre. She just puts butter on like cream crackers, and I'm like, why are you doing this? They're fine on their own. You put, I mean, I guess it's to make them not as dry, but she always has them with coffee, and it's like, well, now you've just got doubly moist cream crackers. And they're not particularly dry cream crackers anyway. Oh my god, delicious tea. I forgot how delicious tea can be when I'm streaming. What platform am I playing on? PC, very, very much so. It should have been obvious from the map, because it's not a map that's available on consoles. Consoles, you can't get mods. This is quite ridiculously heavily modded. I was looking at my mod list last night, and I think I've now filled up 120 slots of it. I'm down to line 120, which means there's 119 different mods loaded into this save game. Some of which are mod packs, so it's probably closer to 200 or 300 mods in this one save game available to me. Now most of them are scripts, so they're constantly loaded. Like soil mod, which is the little control and delete. So down here we have soil mod, which is basically I'm having to manage the soil. No butter and cream crackers? Oh dude, I like plain cream crackers. I'm also the kind of person who'll eat rice cakes plain as well, so I mean that kind of describes me in a nutshell. I'm weird. Yes, Australian internet probably wouldn't help. The mods wouldn't cause buffering. It's the fact that I'm streaming at 3.5 megabits per second is probably what's causing it, because I happen to know that Australian internet tends to not be very good for whatever reason. I'm good today, Faye. Just to address your question, I'm good. I woke up nice and early, had a breakfast, did the washing up, and made a cup of tea after my cup of coffee. So I'm hyper a bit. And my English might break at some point, I don't know. It may be my first language, but that doesn't mean I can't break it. If you watch long enough, you'll learn that I sometimes forget an entire language. Actually all language, and just come up and start creating words that mean nothing. But I haven't done it too much yet. Or I've just created nonsense words. But it does happen. By the way, Faye, did you get to test that pack I linked you to last night? Because I haven't. I haven't tested it, it's loaded in. And I haven't got around to testing it at all. It's probably going to be something I'd buy. You're on your 4th cup of tea already. I had a cappuccino. And this cup ain't small. This cup is the same size as my head. And it's about half full. So I'm not short on caffeine at all. I'm very much awake. Which is nice. I went to bed at like 1:30 last night, which is, by my standards, super freaking early. Ended up asleep at like 2 or 3, which was good. I mean, I know by some people's standards, especially like American standards, that's like, why are you even awake at 3 in the mornings? I'm just thinking that I'm just kind of sat there like, why are you going to bed at 10? You're losing half the evening. It's like 6 in the morning isn't a real time. That's something invented for Americans. 3 AM is when all the cool stuff happens, yo. Plus, I do like the nighttime because it's just quiet. It's nice and quiet and peaceful, and I can get things done. Which is why, whatever time it was last night, at like 10 or 11 o'clock, I was looking through mods. I still didn't find the more mod that I want. Only thing you've downloaded is the forwards. Yeah. Working on maps and working on vehicles are two different things. Equipment seems to be very similar to maps in terms of editing, because it's usually just you can throw an XML edit at it and it works fine. But things like tractors, vehicles I don't understand. I'm going to be completely honest. Also, Ford told me, I got a message when I logged in to Steam. Somebody's converted the EuroDZN IH86 pack. I looked for like 30 seconds, I couldn't find it immediately, so I just kind of I'll either find it later on, get a link off Ford, and see what it's like. But it does kind of look like for the foreseeable future I'll be using Covernaland equipment on this map. Primarily Covernaland, with the exception of the cedar, because I can't edit the Covernaland cedars I have. Because they're the gold edition, which means they're PDLC, which means they're encrypted, which means I can't play with them properly. I really wish I could play with them. I don't want to crack the DLC though. I'm very slowly turning into like a second version of David Oldfield, who's like, I can edit this. La 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 la. It's fixed. Because I have it. I've changed the map again. The icy should be relatively easy. The drifting, if you can figure out how to fix that, I would be. Oh, that might work. Hey Jim, you turned up at a really bad time yesterday. I saw the messages. I was kind of closing down chat. Because fun fact, once I turn off my mic, I start closing down chat and stuff, and getting ready to do other things. For example, last night I almost immediately recorded today's video. Almost immediately after the stream, I just hopped on Project Cars and recorded today's video. Tonight I'm probably going to hop onto ATS and record tomorrow's video, and then go on Project Cars probably and start working on some sort of system to get that Audi around. Today's video is reasonably good. I had to cut a bit out because I was refilling my e-cig, and I remember to cut it out. There's a bit in the video where I was talking, like while I was refilling my e-cig, I was just talking and saying like, if you can hear this, I've screwed up and been lazy. But I remember to cut it out, which is wonderful. But yeah, I've been very productive the last couple of days. I've been doing a lot of thinking as well. Nothing negative, I promise. No big, massive changes to the channel or anything. I've been thinking about how can I get this to run better? How can I do this? How can I do that? It's not to do with the rotation. I don't think the issue with the Fords is down to rotation line. I think, if I had to bet, I think it's down to the Fords are actually too light to weigh themselves down. Because when they start drifting, you know, I'm going to demonstrate. Let's just turn this off to say fuel. This is the guy I want. I'm going to do some demonstrations, so just bear with me a moment. By the way, with manual attached combine headers and front loader equipment, all works as normal. Although with combine headers you have to attach the videos. How's the map coming along? It's not. I need to turn the volume down on this as well, so that's another minor edit I can make. The map's kind of on hold. I'm trying to work on other things right now because, quite frankly, working on the map has got to me, and it's just irritated me to the point where I want to stop. So I'm taking a break from that. I mean, the plan is to release it for FS17 anyway, so taking a few weeks of a break isn't that big a deal, especially seeing as like I'm gonna have to get rid of some stuff out of the map that I already have in, like chopped straw. That's gonna have to go. I'm gonna try and get it working basically for FS15, and then FS17 I'll be doing a full conversion. It will not be released for FS15, I will tell you that now. If it's finished for FS15, yeah, if the map's finished for FS15, I'll be giving it to some people as a private map. Don't ask me when it's going to be done. Yeah, that's part of the reason I kind of got a bit annoyed and stopped doing it, is because almost every third message in chat when I was working on it from new people was like, oh, when's this map coming out? It's just like, does it look like it's ready to even be tested? Never mind released. So I'm going to demonstrate what's going on with the Ford tiers. If you get up to speed and you start doing this, number one, it starts, oh, it's just flat out drifting now. Before it was, Oh my god, I got it properly drifting. Huh. I wonder is it if I... Yeah, I honestly think, Fahy, that the issue is that there's not enough weight back here. It's that all the weight is up the front. And as a result, the rear wheels, once it gets up to some sort of speed, it starts slipping. That's my theory, at least. Tractor Drifting 101, yes, courtesy of... It is great for cooking. I almost got it flipped over by turning too quickly. I don't know how the hell I managed it before, but let's try a tight turn. Nope, that just makes it do donuts. Okay. Apparently my edit of Coldborough is magical and can fix some issues, so yay! But that's why I'm keeping the speed down. If you can figure out what the hell I need to do, if you can figure out how the hell to fix this thing properly, please do let me know and I'll fix it. Speed is key. Yes, I know that. But it does tend to behave if you keep the speed under about 30-35 kilometers an hour. So just put this back in here, like that. Like that, because apparently some of the collisions aren't working properly, and swap back to the Massey because reasons. Back into cab because now we're doing serious things again. I don't mind going out of cab on this map when I'm doing some sort of demonstration of a bug or an issue. It's when I'm doing the actual farming I want to try and be in cab at all times. So I did demonstrate at the start of the stream, and I think you might have missed it, that I edited the silos. I'm actually gonna just leave the Massey running this time and hop into you. 35 kilometers an hour is 22.5 miles an hour. Roughly. Because 30 kilometers an hour is 19 miles an hour. So add another 5, it's about 2.5 miles an hour. So what I've done oh yeah, it's dodgy as hell. What I've done is I've added seeds 2 to this, to the entire silo system, and it's hooked into the pile I have at the back of the map. So I can refill seeds here and then drive forwards and oh yeah, empty them here. And that's all really nice and lovely because quite frankly I don't want to try and test the 5,000 with a bucket full of seeds. What else? I'm gonna just walk through the mods that I got last night because I did download a few mods last night. In maybe front loaders? No. Let me think. Tippers, there might be one. No. Plows, there is. In plows, oh, you were right, Faye. There's a 6 furrow one. Bales are gone from the sell point. Yes, that's so I can fit the bale trailer in. That was a necessary edit. So in plows we got a 5 furrow Cavernaland, which is, I'm gonna pop an extra 0 in there, I think. 2,000 seems a bit cheap, but I'll deal with it. And a 6 furrow Cavernaland, which needs 150 horsepower. What? That's really quite okay. In cultivators we have the Cavernaland CLC Pro 4 meters, which is like 3.5-4 meter cultivator, which is going to be our upgrade from the little one that we have. We're still going to keep the disc because I don't think I've got any other disc cultivators around. Quite frankly, I might use the top down 500 as a disc. I don't know. In sewing machines there should be, yes, there's a Cavernaland Mini Air Nova, which is 3 meters. Capacity of 1,000 litres and can plant everything. So if we want to do corn, I can edit it to take seeds too, and fill from air. In fertilizer spreaders, we got a nice Cavernal and Accord fertilizer spreader. It has very little information, unfortunately. And in sprayers, Monsoon Triton 500, which you should already know about. I didn't download any new mowers. I'm looking for an old-looking mower that can replace the Kaziaka Osa, because the Sipma Prairie 1600 is a bit wonky at times. And I don't want to be using the disc binds. What else did I get? I swear I got something else. Maybe not. Oh, I did download the Coon Profile Medium. Yay! So that's going to be our feed mixer. Oh yes, the Cavernal and Tower Up Shuttle, which is an auger wagon, technically speaking. It can only be used for chaff. That's actually really helpful. And yes, I remember now. I downloaded the MB3D weights. Why did I download these? Because apparently the OEB weight has a bit of an issue with the Massies. Also, this is a really nice looking model. That is a medium-sized mixer looking game. I don't know, I haven't tried it. These weights have really nice models. David Oldfield uses them, that's where I got the link. The link is in the mod list, !mods, if you want to get a hold of that. The Ford Forces I have, unfortunately, are private mods because I'm allowing myself one other than like all of my edits. I need to test out the medium feed mixer, but I did get a nice... I think I've got a nice balance of like weird and wonderful mods now. Like we've got the Triton 500, which is essentially just a reskin of the in-game Amazon, and I might swap it out for the in-game Amazon yet. After I've used it for some spraying. This can be upgraded to the other Cavernaland pellet spreader at some point, and then onto the big trailed Amazon. And we've got kind of something that can... We've got enough equipment now that we can upsize the farm as much as we want, and eventually get up to, and I've decided I will, get the biggest equipment and the biggest stuff. But that's only gonna happen. Number one, we're gonna need at least 2 harvesters if we get the biggest harvester in the game, because this field is really wonky. I've tried using a 13 meter head on this field, it does not work. The header I've got on the harvester is pretty much the limit. But yeah, I mean it's... We're getting to the point now where we're almost ready to start the second round of cultivation. We need to finish field... We need to do... what field is that over there? That is field 3, I believe. Yeah, we've got to cultivate field 3 yet. Then we can swap that cultivator for the Lemkin cultivator that I've got sitting over in the yard, and get working on that. And then we'll have to start pretty much all over again and do all the fields again. Starting off in field 3 because that'll have the GPS traces ready. After that we'll be doing some... Do I want to spread lime immediately? I might actually spread lime before I go on to cultivating this under. Yeah, I'll spread some lime first. So once we get field 3 over there cultivated, we'll be spreading a bit of lime and then cultivating all the stuff under. Just so that I get a bit of... Get the pH into basics, like a slight bit of alkalinity or basicness. Yeah, just slightly basic, so that's not overbearingly acidic or overbearingly alkaline or basic. So, I'm finished my tea now. I was a nice cup of tea. So yeah, I've got plans. I've got lots of plans. That's what I've been thinking about, was making plans for this and making plans for the channel as a whole, and thinking about basically how to get the channel moving a bit better. Now, obviously I spoke yesterday at quite a bit of length about why I'm doing YouTube and why I'm doing live streams. I mean, I do really love doing YouTube and I do take this seriously, but I mean, aside from that, it is a necessary thing for me. It is something that I think is going to help me. I actually watched Matophobia's stream last night. Was it last night? Matophobia from Nerdcubed. He's the Nerdcubed community manager, and he was talking about, conveniently when I tuned in, he was talking about how like, your actions and what you say and what you do can influence the direction of a community. So, for example, he's very kind of jokingly aggressive, artificially aggressive, and he swears a lot. So the community reflects that. The community, the Nerdcube community in the streams, if you've ever been to a Nerdcube Fustercluck or a Podcats or something, you'll know that the chat can be at times a bit aggressive towards Matt in particular. But that's what he wants to do, that's how he wants them to be. He has kind of given them the go-ahead to do that. And, you know, it allows for running jokes in that community. I want I want pretty much all of the communities that I manage to be a bit chill, just kind of helpful and chill, and that's what I try to do by talking about. And I know I am quite negative at times. I do realise that. I know I'm very negative at times when I talk about mods and stuff, but that's mainly just trying to educate, like, this is a bad mod because of this, and this. It's not like I'm not doing any sort of personal attack on the mod author. It's just, you know, this is what you want to look out for if you're looking at a bad mod. This is, you know, this is how to do this is how to do that, this is what's wrong with this and why I don't personally like it. And I was talking to Faye last night about Donegal, because he was showing me something of one of Daggerwin's videos. He was showing me a bit of it, and I was just like, yeah, I knew about that. Dagger found an issue in the Donegal map, and I was just like, yeah, I've known about that for a while. So one thing I never say is, I do know about a lot more problems with maps than I had let on. Yeah, GTA I think is one of those games where you're just gonna want it. One thing that I played, was it last night or the night before, that I hadn't played in ages, and I'm so glad that I decided to do it over the last couple of days. I started playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 again, because I want to get Planet Coaster later on in the year when that comes out. And yes, that will be on the bloody channel, because I love Roller Coaster Tycoon games. I'd completely forgotten how to play RCT3, mind you. But it's the kind of game that you can forget how to play it, come back 4 years or 2 or 3 years later, and then just kind of muddle your way through and be like, oh, that's how to do that. But I did one scenario and I just ended up filling the park and getting the Tycoon achievement or whatever, and I was like, yep, that's done. Next time I play, I'll be on a different map. Hey Bob, how you doing today? But yeah, I might stop Monday. I don't know what I want to do on Mondays, because I don't want to do Coldborough on Mondays. The map is going to be something done away from streams for at least a little while. If and when I decide to return to making it, it's going to be off stream for a while. It might be on Twitch. Which means I know if I won't be able to watch it, but I mean, that's... Being blunt, less people are going to watch on Twitch. I'm doing good. I think I now have my sleeping pattern to where I'm actually human again. Because it randomly decided to kick itself over the weekend. And literally gave me like 4 hours sleep. I was like, oh, why am I waking up at 9 in the morning? I went to bed at 6. Actually, no, this is a good thing. I'm gonna try and stay awake. And then I fell asleep until like 4 o'clock. Which is why there's no stream on Monday. Then Monday night, same thing. Like I went to bed at like 5. Woke up at like 10. I was like, oh, screw it. I'm staying awake this time. Being blunt is... It's your tough luck. What? I'm confused now, Faye. No, I'm being honest. Less people watch on Twitch than watch on YouTube because I don't really push Twitch all that much. And FarmSim on Twitch, the guys who are established are the only ones that get viewers. Like, I'm gonna... Actually, in a minute I want to play an ad on YouTube anyway, so I'm gonna check Twitch chat and just see... I won't name anybody in Twitch chat. Eliminate. So I'm gonna play an ad on YouTube real quick. About me streaming on Twitch and you not being able to watch. Yeah, it's tough luck, but I mean, at the same time, I do know how the streams are gonna work. YouTube is the more popular of my two streams. Twitch is less popular, so I'm just gonna pop an ad up on YouTube. And I hope nobody's gone and left Twitch because I said I'm gonna be counting the people in chat. Yeah, there's currently nobody watching on Twitch, other than myself and Moobot. That's the entire Twitch chat right now, is me and Moobot. And I can see on YouTube I've got 5 viewers, which is 10,000% more than are on Twitch because any percentage is bigger than 0. And bizarrely, YouTube doesn't count Nightbot as being a viewer. I think Nightbot is literally just hooked into chat, which is really nice. So... yeah. By the way, the edit I did to get the seeds working in the... whoops. In the silos does actually require... You get a few on Twitch, but you stream at like 2:30 in the morning. That's when I'm like going to bed normally. But I mean, Luminate, you can agree that the people who watch FarmSim on Twitch usually, but not always, will go to like the same 4 or 5 people. I'm one of these people. I don't really watch. Did I turn off the? I did turn off the thing. That's gonna be problematic. I will be blunt. I don't usually watch FarmSim on Twitch because I don't see people on it that I recognize or I think I'll enjoy. But well, I don't watch Twitch a whole lot, so I tend to just go for like the same 5 guys constantly because I know I'll enjoy them. I know I can just leave it running for a while and do something else on my other screen. By the way, that's why I say that I always lurk in chats, is because I'm almost always doing something else when I'm watching a stream. It's not like me just being lurky, it's me constantly needing to have something to do. I mean, to be honest, streaming it in the middle of the day like I do is not helpful. But I can't stream later at night because I'm usually kind of doing videos and stuff later in the night. And I don't really have 2 hours that I can say I can definitely be free and available for these 2 hours every day, other than like 3 to 5 or 2 till 6 tomorrow. And again, that's 4 hours, so But that's kind of my entire thought process. 95% of the people who watch you are European mainly in Europe. 90. It's about a 50-50 split for me between. I say 50-50, and I'm gonna name out like 3 countries. It's kind of the main two are kind of a 50-50 split between UK and US, and then Ireland's kind of a close third because of the time zones. In terms of viewership, I have noticed I've got a surprisingly strong presence in Russia and Southeast Asia for whatever reason, which just makes me giggle a small bit because it's like I'm just this random Irish dude who doesn't really. I pretend to know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time. As like, why are people in Afghanistan watching me? I think I have had viewers from Afghanistan. I know I've seen Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Qatar, Thailand, the Philippines. I'm just like, these people, English is not the first language of any of these countries. Why are they watching me? Why are they watching somebody who can hardly speak English themselves, despite it being my first language? There. I'm wondering if having the cup of tea might have been a mistake. But it's one thing that I do every so often is I just go through my analytics on YouTube and look at the geographical analytics. Just because it's interesting to look at the trends there and see what the trends are, or see if you can identify patterns. For example, US viewers tend to watch more videos but less of each video, whereas Canadian viewers watch fewer videos but more of each video. So there seems to be an inverse correlation between number of views and minutes watched on a geographically local level, which is it's interesting to me. I should say. I know that people are just like, what are these words and why is he talking about statistics? Because I'm a scientist. You know, scientific brain, pattern recognition, find the trends, see where it leads, and see if you can make up a theory based on that trend. That's science. It's really useful for looking at YouTube analytics, because some of it is so obscure. Because Americans have a low attention span. I don't think it's that, Bob. I think it's that Americans want to find more instant entertainment. I mean, look, it's kind of showing up in the election over in America. Americans want instant gratification, so they'll watch maybe 2 minutes of a video. If they're not entertained, they'll leave. Whereas a lot of other countries, Canada in particular apparently, are much more willing to go for slower, more paced content than boom, 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 things constantly happening. That's my theory, is that Americans just, in general, I'm not saying that every American is like this, but based on the patterns I've seen in my own analytics, I can say with reasonable confidence that Americans seem to want stay in key, your head rotates in realistic ways so you can reverse and stuff. Oh, nice! I might I'm almost definitely going to download that and check it out. I do have a mod that does something similar already. Hey Summer, how are you doing today? I do have a mod installed that does something like that already. I've got it switched off at the moment in this tractor, so let's go Shift C and Shift R, I believe. Yep, that is now all on. So I've just switched the mod on so you can see what the mod that I have. It's better keyboard steering, which it works terribly with the keyboard. It does not work well with the keyboard at all. Just so you can see what somebody else has decided to do for what seems to be a similar solution. So here we go. Reverse. It's not working. There we go. Reverse, and the camera just instantly changes. And forwards, and it instantly changes. But I do like the head turniness of the mod, because when you're turning, you don't just look straight forward. I mean, hell, if you watch Project Hell carefully, the stream tomorrow, you'll notice that my head is kind of looking towards the next corner. It does look reversed in the stream because that's the way it kind of is. But I do move my head, and I do kind of... Interesting comments of Americans. It's just something I thought up based on my own analytics that I've seen. It's not necessarily true of everyone. It's just true for whatever subset of Americans have been to my videos. Also, you know, misclicks are a thing, so that would negatively affect the yeah, but it's true. I mean, look at the election. Trump is just nothing but instant gratification. I'll make America great again, and I'll win. And oh my God, he's actually the candidate for the Republican Party now. Rest in peace, democracy, if that scumbag wins, because he's a fascist. I think that's more impatience than instant gratification, Summer. Use head tracking, say never thought about adding. Yeah, it's an interesting little thing, this mod. And I think it actually causes the camera to bounce about a bit more, although that could be real terrain and cab suspension working in cahoots. If he wins, you can see an assassination coming. Is that a threat, Bob? Because I don't think the Secret Service would like you very much if it was. If he wins, I can see America being ostracized by the rest of the world, and literally every company that is currently in America moving their headquarters to Ireland or the UK. As if there aren't enough American companies with tax exile in Ireland. Hello, Apple and eBay and Google and Facebook and that banana company. Not you, some in the US, quite possibly. By the way, this is a 100% legit fact. Ireland is the world's #1 producer of bananas. Ireland holds the world's largest banana company. Despite, you know, bananas not actually being able to grow in Ireland. But because of the tax rules here, the world's largest banana company is headquartered here. Just as a completely random, pointless fact. I think it's like Chikorita. Is it Chikorita? But anyway, yeah, that's a thing. It's why Ireland it comes out #1 in so many weird random polls of different businesses. Like it's a very scientific country because it's cheap to run a science company here. You're from where the most produced pasties are, so that can. Yeah, that's another thing that's a thing that the UK seems to be forgetting about the EU. Simulate. It's just occurred to me. It's actually occurred to me a few times. Cornish pasties are protected under EU law that they can only be made in Cornwall. If the UK leaves the EU, that law then becomes defunct. There is no Cornwall in the EU. So then you can have Cornish pasties being made in Dublin. Cornish pasties being made in, I don't know, Berlin somewhere, or in Hamburg. Stilton cheese being made in out of Mongolia somewhere or something. It's an EU law. If there's no UK in the EU, there is then no EU law protecting UK products. It's like there's a very specific type of black pudding that is absolutely delicious. Clonakilty black pudding. It can only be produced in Clonakilty in County Cork, and it's like very specific on the amounts of offal and meat and blood that go into it. And it is one of the few black puddings that are still produced using blood. So the traditional black pudding. And it's absolutely delicious. And I know people are now thinking, Dave eats things that actually contain blood. Yes. They're allowed to call them pasties, not Cornish pasties. The name is protected, yes. But should the UK leave the EU, anybody in Europe can make a pasty and call it a Cornish pasty. Stilton cheese is only allowed to be produced in like one town in Leicestershire. If the UK were to leave the EU, it could be made in Poznan. Oddly enough, the town that can make Stilton is about 5 miles away from Stilton. Or the village of Stilton. By the way, black pudding is delicious. I'm that weirdo who does enjoy blood pudding, as it's known in the UK. Apparently, Nightbot doesn't like too many letters. It's genuinely delicious. It's a bit dry, oddly enough, but really nice. White pudding, if it's properly spiced, is absolutely beautiful. And black pudding is pretty much the same, except, you know, for the whole it contains blood thing. Also, something I noticed when I was living in the UK. I'm trying to put this in a nice way. The Irish recipe sausages that are available in Iceland in the UK. I tried some. All I'm going to say is Irish recipe sausages call for them to not be frozen ever. The Iceland ones were frozen. They tasted spicy, but not of sausage. And they'd actually managed to overspice the sausage. Because Irish recipe is like, oh, we're gonna have... It's very kind of, I guess Italian is, or I don't know how to describe it. It's like, we're gonna have spice in it, yes, but it's gonna be kind of underwhelming amount of spice. Where you can taste the meat, and then you get the hint of spice coming out of the top, and then some maybe a bit of herb flavoring. And it seemed like the English one, the English version was just like, well, it says add spices, so let's add all of them. Also, England is very blatantly becoming USA 2.0, because apparently there's like local elections on in England today. So naturally it's Super Thursday because of reasons. Why isn't it just local election day? Please, can somebody explain why the news outlets in the UK have decided to dub today Super Thursday? It's not super, it's just a day where there's a lot of people getting elected. There's nothing super about it. Everything is... yes, it's why the USA is... or the UK is becoming USA 2.0. It's like if a corporation wants it because of the Tories, essentially, they get it. It's... the UK is becoming gradually more and more like the US and a lot more right-wing than it used to be. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn's a very left-wing traditionalist Labour man, and he's getting crapped on because he's the left-wing Labour leader. I'm just kind of sat there like, yes, of course he's left-wing. Labour's a left-wing party. I don't see how you can be calling him the left-wing leader of the left-wing party. It's like, it's like calling UKIP the right wing. Another extreme right. Corbyn is generic left wing. He wants things to be fair. He's not a communist. But the news outlets at times treat him as if he's a communist because he wants less corporate interference in politics. In other words, he wants more democracy, and somehow he's bad for wanting that. Okay, UK, you go along with your monarchy and try and ignore the fact that you're supposed to be a democratic country. Yeah, UK is the weirdest country because it keeps forgetting what it wants to be. It keeps trying to decide it wants to be the USA 2.0, which was basically done so the USA wouldn't be British. It makes no sense to me at all. I know I'm talking politics today. It's just something that irritated me this morning when I was looking through the news. It's like, oh my god, why do you need a soundbite name for a bloody election? At least here the general election this year is called General Election. Not like Super Wednesday or Super Electy Fun Time Wonder Day, which now I want a news outlet to call like a random election Super Electy Fun Time Wonder Day. I know it's not a soundbite name, but it is so funny. I love it. Can we start a campaign for news outlets to start calling elections Super Electy Fun Time Happy Days or something like that? Because that would make people more interested in politics. Like Super Electy Shiny Happy Fun Wonder Days. I'd vote for one of them. I'd vote in the Super Electy. And now on to the final field. Hurrah! We're all happy now that I've just gone on a random rant about elections. Oh yeah, I had intended on finishing... yeah, okay. I had actually intended on finishing off down there, but apparently I managed to screw up my own plan. That looks like a relatively straight line. And off we go. Don't mind missing that bit off to the left there because it looks covered up. I'm just gonna blame Starbucks. My mods are getting worse and worse. I would honestly recommend Coldborough with a few edits. Simulate. if you add me on Steam Simulate, I'll send you the link to the map, because I do have a link to this map, because it's my map, technically speaking. And to be honest, the edits I've made are the reason that I've kind of stopped and done this for a while, is because this is just too good to not play. It's mildly, it's not like a complete map change, but the edits are, I think, good for improving the map as a whole. That's assuming you want it, because I do have a Dropbox link available if I can pick it up. Starbucks is awful everywhere. They buy the cheapest coffee, they buy the cheapest fair trade coffee in the world somehow. Grind it badly, overheat it. You don't have to go right now, Simulate, but later on I can send you the link. Just if you want a new map to fiddle about on. They don't get any of your money. They don't get any of mine either, because there's none near me. Plus I tend not to have money. Kind of a secondary thing is money issues. Like small family run places. They're actually really good. They tend to have better coffee because they actually care. I know Costa have reasonably good coffee. Again, they have an issue where they burn the coffee itself, but it's not terrible. It's not Starbucks bad. I mean, the only thing I like Starbucks for is because they've got ginger, and is it ginger or nutmeg or something like that? And that on top of the cappuccino with some chocolate is absolutely delicious. Good friend of yours has been wanting you to move to his town. Why don't you? Is this town called Starbucks City though? Because that'd be a big red flag for me. Yeah, it's in Prince Rupert, so not Starbucks City. That's good. Or that... Isn't there like a place in Kansas or Texas that named itself Google? To get like free Google Fiber forever? Or to celebrate the fact they were the like pilot city for Google Fiber or something? That said, I'd love Google Fiber. Imagine the streams you could do. Or the things you could do if you had a gigabyte connection. Or gigabit connection, I should say. I could host like 6 servers and be like, hey, everybody on the servers. You need to see what's needed for you to live in Canada. Trump to become president. That's number 1. Mind you, Hillary wouldn't be much better, I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a case of who's the least worst, because in all honesty I think Sanders was the only one to have actually good ideas. I realise that of course he'd never get them through because every other politician in America is owned by some corporation or another. I mean, Hillary's owned by the banks because, yeah, Trump is owned by racists, and probably the KKK. And the NRA. Well, I know Prince Rupert's in Canada. I know where British Columbia is. I'm not an American, Summer. I do know world geography. I do think it's funny that a lot of Americans can't place European countries on a map. But they get really annoyed if a European can't place an American state on a map. It's just like, you know, I can't place every American state, but I have a vague idea where most of them are. I know they're American states. I don't think they're separate countries. Unlike America, some Americans in Africa, which thinks for some reason who think Africa for some reason is a country. How exactly do people think this? Mind you, those same people probably think Europe is a country, so... yeah, it's comical. It really is. Like, the idiocy of the human race is never going to stop being entertaining to me. I sound really negative today. Oh, I sound really bad. But somebody just sent me a message on Facebook. Where's my phone? That was a Facebook message, I swear. Somebody sent me a link to a YouTube video. I'm kind of busy right now. I'm literally on YouTube right now. I'll watch it later, I guess. Hey Ford 5000, how you doing today? Have you decided the 5000 is your name from now on? Because I know you went through literally every other one of the Ford Forces. So yeah, I meant to run an ad when I was down there, so I'm just going to pause the game. I'm going to run an ad real quick, and there we go. Get the chats back open. Maybe. Well, that's a bit more committed than... well, that's a real non-committal answer, I guess. I'm gonna try and like, stop bitching about stuff now. That's gonna be fun. Oh, there was something in the news I wanted to talk about. But I can't remember now. Something that was positive in the news that I wanted to talk about. I can't for the life of me remember. Good. Good. I'm not gonna start browsing on my phone though. Ford 4000 will be your name for good. Okay. As long as you're one of the Ford Forces and you're not trying to be a copy of 7000, it doesn't bother me too much. Because I kind of know it's you under any one of the Forces names. So just as long as you don't try and imitate Ford 7000, you're fine. I don't even mind you being called like Ford 7000. It's just I don't want people to start imitating each other. Unless it's for like this really big prank that I do or something. That would actually be funny if I got everybody in chat to go into another stream. I wouldn't do it ever. But if I got everybody in chat to go into another like YouTube stream with the same name and same picture and just all say hi at once, that would be brilliant. But it would have to be somebody that I know well in person, and I don't know any YouTubers well in person. If and when I get to be friends with like other YouTubers, expect to see some really weird pranks. I will warn them about. Like, I'm gonna be putting a prank on you today, just deal with some random crap in your chat. Because that's my kind of humor, is just like filling a chat with people who all have the same name. And that's like, assuming the streamer has been forewarned that something weird is gonna happen, they'll understand that it's just a prank. I wouldn't do that and just be like, hey, calm down, bro, it's just a prank. If I'd warn them, like, Yeah, I'm planning something weird in your chat today. Just expect something weird to happen at some point. Yeah. Because pranking a stream is a bit evil. And especially like swatting and stuff. That's just... Number one, it's illegal. Number two, it's just cruel. Like pranking a stream is in doing a bit of somewhat innocent trolling that the streamer already knows is going to happen. That's fine. In my books, it's fine because it's like, as long as there's some sort of warning and it's not just this random thing that starts happening for no reason, I'd be okay with it. Especially if it requires like quite a lot of organization to get like 30 or 40 people in. Awesome. We're doing well with the cultivation today. I mean, there's still quite a lot to do. Field 3 or Field 6. Why did I think this was Field? Oh, I think Field 3 also needs to be done yet. Nuts. So the next time I'll be streaming this is going to be Saturday. I'm going to try and get off-cam work done. It does exist, Simulate. It does exist in England. You can, if you say the right things, you can potentially get an armed unit out. Mind you, good luck getting that to happen in Ireland, because we don't have an armed police force. All you get is a group of really, really confused policemen standing outside my door going, well, what do we do? They said he's got a gun. Yeah, screw it, we'll be fine. He's not gonna hurt anyway, he never comes out, it's fine. Especially seeing as like 90% of the people who have access to guns in Ireland are already known to the Gardaí. Yeah, it's... Armed response in Plymouth is a taser. That's more than you get in Ireland. Armed response here is the cops start waving their arms at you. I guess. Or like throwing stuff at you that doesn't really hurt too much. Although I think they do have tasers now. I don't know if a taser is kind of in the spirit of the law with the... I think it's actually constitutional that the police force here is largely unarmed. I don't know if it's in the spirit of the Constitution if the police force has a taser as kind of standard issue equipment. Also, I'd hope the taser training includes being hit by a taser, because I mean, you really, I think if you got something like that, you really should know what you're potentially going to inflict on people. I know that gun training doesn't necessarily need to involve being shot, but taser training, I think you should, just as a kind of a rite of passage, to say, yeah, you're able, you know, if you're going to want to use this on somebody else. We've got an armed response unit in this area, and all I ever see them doing is just driving around. It's like you see the armed response vans going around, it's like, they are just looking for a cup of coffee, aren't they? They're just looking for something to fire at. We don't even have an army base here anymore. We used to, so there was the occasional time where you go up the mountains, up to a certain area of the mountains around here, and you couldn't get up there because the army were doing target practice that day. Because there was, I think still is, a firing range up there. So like we used to go on hikes with the scouts up there, and literally every time you'd come back with a few bullet casings. you know, a few shells just because, hey, I found like 6 more bullet shells up here. Awesome. Yeah, it's a thing I can have. And nobody really cares about having empty shells because they're worthless. The firing caps are already used and all that stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter too much. Plus, there's a whole novelty of oh, the armed response unit are armed to the teeth. Yeah. They are quite scary. But in general, it's like an armed response in Ireland is the cops wave at you because they recognize you. My mother, there was a, oh my god, I have to tell the story, I really do. We're close family friends, or we have a family friend who happens to be a cop around here. Or was, I think he's retired now, due to his service. And he was very active around here as a cop, and he was always doing traffic patrols. And of course, my mother was driving around the area going to and from the next town, which is normally where his patrols were. Every time he was on duty, he'd stop her for a chat and start acting like he was getting really angry at her. He'd just lean in the window and have like a 5-minute chat with her. And then wave her, start waving other traffic around her, and it's like, oh, for the love of God, please stop doing this, because like, every single time without fail she'd get stopped by him for a chat. And he'd start making it look to the other traffic like she was being arrested or being lectured about something. In reality, they're just chatting about how their day's going. And every single time without fail she was really embarrassed. It's like, that's a prank I can get behind because it's completely harmless and it's genuinely funny. It's these YouTube pranksters who like hit people and they're like, Joe, chill out dude, it's a prank. Look at the cameras. That's not a prank, that's you just trying to get away with assault. The pranks are supposed to be innocent jokes between friends, not like attacking random strangers. Those pranks are best if you're doing like this long running joke or something. With somebody and it just keeps happening over and over. Because I think, was it a picture I saw on Imgur or something? And this one guy kept changing all the random stuff in a pizza place to being called Morgan Freeman. That's a prank, Simulate. That's an evil prank, but it's a prank. It's a joke between friends. I remember in college there was a guy, he was a bit of a party animal, you know, a mature student, bit of a party animal still. And one day he showed up with no eyebrows. Apparently he was at a party over the weekend. This is on Monday morning. He showed up on Monday morning and he was just saying, yeah, I was the first one to pass out at the party, so I lost my eyebrows. They just flat out shaved his eyebrows off for some reason. That's a prank. It's an extremely cruel one, but it's still a prank. Yeah, I don't get a lot of the so-called prank videos on YouTube. I really don't. It's like, no, that's literally just you being an ass and trying to get away with it by saying, no, look at the cameras. Oh, and to be fair, a good prank makes everybody laugh at the end. You lost your eyebrows twice. I have never lost an eyebrow. Also, despite being in Scouts for like years, Never once was I pulled out of the tent by my sleeping bag, which was a very common prank. It was like somebody sleeps in too late, and whoever else is in the tent with them decides, nope, you've been asleep too long, you're coming out into the middle of the field, you're going to wake up there now. That's a really common one in Scouts. They usually wake up within like 5 minutes once they're out of the tent. I remember we pulled a prank on one of the leaders where he said, no, I'm not going to do a handbrake. He used to be a rally driver. I should preface this by saying he used to be a rally driver, so he had really good car control. There were like 12 of us piled into the back of his Hi-Ace. And we decided that he needed to do some handbrake turns in the field. So people started pulling the handbrake. So here's like 12 scouts of various ages being driven around in a field in a Hi-Ace by the leader and just randomly pulling the handbrake on him because we want to do some handbrake turns. Yes, it's a bit of a cruel one. You caught his tent on fire. That's a bit extreme. That said, the funniest things I've ever seen have been at music festivals. So I'm a former scout, so I know how to put up a tent. The big, like, triangular Icelandic tents that you see and you just think, oh yes, that's a tent. When it was it's still mean to burn somebody's tent down. You know, you see the big triangle things with the flat walls and you think, oh, that's a tent, that's an Icelandic tent. And they're really difficult to get up. In competition you have to get it up in 15 minutes between 8 people. And I think our record was 13, and then we got like 2 minutes to check it out, to check over to make sure there was no slack on the ropes and all the angles were mostly correct and stuff like that. But at music festivals, obviously you don't use big Icelandic tents, so you bring a little dome tent, which I can put up in like 5 minutes. Single-handedly, I can put up a 3-man tent in about 5 minutes. But of course, that's with experience putting tents up. At festivals, why don't I just hire a worker? I'm not hiring workers in this game. I'm doing this all manually. It does get really boring, but that's why I'm talking so much. This is just kind of off-camera kind of a stuff, and it's just kind of a chill stream kind of thing, where it doesn't necessarily have to be wonderfully exciting the whole time. And I'm trying to enact what Daggerwin claims. Because in reality, you wouldn't get a magical dude who can only go in straight lines. Plus, in Coldborough, it's just going to end up going to the first fence and crashing. So I sleeping bag shut now. That's a funny one. But the funniest thing is watching people who have no idea how to put up a tent, trying to put up a dome tent at a festival. So, like when I arrived at the first one, it was Independence, not too far away from me. And went in, put my tent up, and I sat back and relaxed on my bag because, you know, I was done. I'm gonna catch some sun and have a beer. Because yes, I do occasionally drink. And I had a can of beer. I was like, okay, my tent's up. I'm gonna have a can of can of lager and just relax for a bit because the music doesn't start for another 2 hours. So I just sat on my bag, cracked open a can, and I just kind of laid back and was looking around. And everywhere around me there was like 5 or 6 people gathered around tents that were probably only slightly bigger than mine and easier to put up than mine was. And they were all kind of like looking at the pose and being like, what's this thing? Why does this bend? Why is how is the thing? And that's the point where you realise, not only do they have no experience putting tents up, they've never actually bothered to practice putting a tent up. So you have people who have no idea what they're doing, and they're trying to do it for the very first time. The biggest tip I can give anybody going to a music festival, if you're bringing your own tent, put it up in your bloody back garden first to eat it. Otherwise you'll end up with somebody laughing at you because you have no idea what you're doing. And it's hilarious because you got like occasionally 6 or 7 people because they've got 2 tents between them, and it's just like, somehow all of you have managed to screw up making this tent. I mean, eventually the tents went up, but it's like, if I can do this by myself in 5 minutes, probably exaggerating, it was like 15-20 minutes, you 6 can surely do it in 10, despite having no experience. No, it took them like half an hour to put up a tent. I mean, the first time I did it as well, I was trying to figure out, because it was the first, okay, I will admit, I didn't practice putting the tent up myself, so I was kind of figuring out as I was going on, okay, so I need to do this to get a bend in the poles. How the hell am I going to do it on both sides? Because normally it's done both sides at once, and somebody else is on the other side holding it for you, and I was kind of like, okay, this is possibly going to go horribly wrong, but let's give it a try, just doing it solo and seeing how it goes along. Because I could have asked somebody for help and then helped them out if I really wanted to. Nah, it worked fine first time, so I was like, oh, done, yep, sit back, have a beer, I'm good. Music's starting in a few hours and then I can go into the arena. I think I actually went for a nap after that as well. Because it was like 23-24 degrees or something like that. Really nice warm day. I was like, oh, I'm sitting out of tent having a nap. Screw it. Because, you know, that's what you do when you're having a chill out. It's like, you have a beer, have a nap. Good. What other pranks have I seen or known about? There's the obligatory, like, pantsing somebody prank where you pull their pants down on them. I think everybody's had that done to them or done it to somebody before. That's like prank level 1. Is, haha, your pants are down now. So yeah, that's kind of... I'm still talking about pranks. I don't know why I'm still talking about pranks. I've got a weird fascination with them today. Although the best one I've seen was Nerd Cube's one, where he did like a full 12-hour live stream just for one joke. Like a full 12 hours just for a joke. That's an impressive level of prank right there. When it happens to you, you just stand there and don't pull them up. Simulate, you're a bit odd. When that happens to me, I burn everything. Okay. Calm down there, Captain Pyro. When that happens to me, I just take the rest of my clothes off. That way, I'm out doing the prankster somehow. Then I get arrested, I don't know why. Telling the police it was a prank is somehow inappropriate. Oh dear. Oh, my e-cig battery's charged. Yay! That's a... Simulate, which one is the great idea? Because I set everything. Turn around and start party blowing the pranker. Now that is an idea. That's how to turn a prank on somebody. Is just flat out prank them. You just start. Yeah, I think most people once they get to a certain age will just start dancing. Because there's a certain. I don't know what age it is, but you just stop caring anymore about how you look. I most definitely don't care about how I look. If I did, I wouldn't have long hair and a beard. Although I do. I do like the beard because it's something for me to play with when I'm bored. Seriously, off stream, I'm like constantly twiddling my mustache and stuff. It's weird. It's just a habit of mine that I just need to play with something. Might rob a bank and say it's a prank. Oh dear. Could you? Oh my god. Could you imagine if somebody played a bank robbery prank, but they just like walked into a bank, stood inside there for 5 minutes, and then on the way out put on like a balaclava and pulled like a bunch of Monopoly out the edge of a bag so it looks like real money or something? I started running around. It's like that would be the weirdest bloody prank. I rarely care what people think about me. I care what my friends think, because I usually ask their advice on stuff. But in general, if you don't like me, fair enough. I don't particularly care all that much. Obviously, doing YouTube, I do care a small bit about what people think. But it's mainly about the content, not about me personally. Which is why I have the disconnect between the likes of PewDiePie and his content, and Markiplier and his content. It's also why I try and avoid YouTube drama. You're very mild compared to your friends. I'm odd. I'm just plain odd. A friend and I were talking about Game of Thrones the other day, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was just like, everybody turns into a zombie or something like that, something really outlandish and weird. And I was just like, hang on, it's George R.R. Martin. That could be possible. I can't remember what exactly it was. The fact that I started watching the Ghost Stories anime is not helping my weirdness. By the way, if anybody's looking for an anime that's... If you're a fan of the likes of DBZ Abridged or Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or something like that, and you want an anime that's actually written like that, in that weird comic style where there's a lot of M-rated jokes, or MA-rated jokes, I guess. Yeah, Ghost Stories is a really, really funny anime. I started watching it last night. I've been meaning to watch it for a while, because I saw a couple of videos showing the weirder lines and weirder happenings. And like episode 1, they managed to trap a ghost inside a cat's body. Episode 2, somebody gets sucked into a toilet. 2 people get sucked into toilets, actually. And it's that kind of weird humor. I think in Japanese it was supposed to be a bit more serious than it is in English, because apparently the writers got annoyed that they had to do an English read-up or something. This is my guess, at least. The writers must have been not very impressed that they had to do an English read-up, and wrote a just completely insane script for it. That's like making fun of absolutely everything. Because there's one character and she's just this evangelical born-again Christian for no reason whatsoever. I love it. I'm actually probably gonna watch it when I'm finished recording for today and doing off-camera work again. Doing all the stuff off camera. So just in case you think that, you know, I'm gone insane because I'm doing everything manually, I did do a couple of series where I just course-played everything. Course-playing everything and using hired workers for everything is boring as hell. Because half the time I end up just sat there thinking, well, everything's being done. What is there that I can do? I've run out of things to do because the hired workers can do that, courseplay can do that. I am unnecessary in this map. So I tend to restart off-camera save games a hell of a lot more than the on-camera ones. It's also I got bored of the big farm when I was doing that. Number one, courseplay craps itself every 5 minutes. Number two, it just makes you completely courseplay is good for certain things. I'm not going to deny that. I will be using courseplay for very specific things on this map. But I won't be using it. You just mode because Field and anybody forgot. No thanks. But courseplay is good for like what I'll be using it for is doing tram lines and working the BGA if and when I get the BGA up and running. They're the only two purposes I have for courseplay. It's the only reason I've got courseplay installed. Is basically for tram lines, because it's very easy to get good looking tram lines if you use courseplay. And what I'll do is I'll show the method in the stream of how to get really nice looking tram lines. Because I noticed that was something that people kept saying in the Nuts and Save game was, how did you get such really nice tram lines? And I just kind of sat there like, are you seriously asking me this question? Yeah, because it's really bloody simple. It's really hilariously simple how to get good realistic looking tram lines in Farm Sim. I mean, yes, you do need a specific mod or two, but at the same time it's like you're not really having to put much into it to get nice looking tram lines. And if you really want, you can fertilize using that same course. The issue is if you buy a new fertilizer spread, you have to re-record all of the tram lines. That's like the biggest issue. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just stop this tractor here real quick and grab the New Holland. Because I want to show off the... yeah, get a price multiplier of like 0.5 or so. Will give you a nice low price for silage. I've still got the price multiplier set on one on this, but I might lower it still. I actually want to show off some textures. One texture in particular, so... You hate driving in this game. That's like half the game though. So because I'm technically working, so I'll throw on the in-cab camera. I'm going to load up Lime. Just wait for that to load up fully to full 700. There we go. That's the nice thing about Coldborough is that lime silo does actually work for does work for thing soil mod. So I actually want to show off the Genneborg soil mod texture for lime spreadage. I do enjoy driving. I don't like how it's very difficult to guess where on earth you're supposed to be going. That's a genuine issue. So that's the lime texture from Genneborg. I'll stop up once I've got the field limed up, because I mean I am going to lime all the fields. Once I've got the first pass done on the cultivation. But it stands out really nicely. It does actually look like... That's a different texture that I'm used to. That's not the usual texture. That's... I swear that's a different texture inside the hopper. If somebody's playing Farm Sim right now, could you get the... That's a different texture. I swear that is... It... Why is that using the wheat texture? I don't like driving on the roads, so you let Horseplay do it. Yeah, that's fair enough, because I mean the AI is the biggest issue in this game. So this is the Genneborg soil mod texture, which is a bit dodgy at this angle, but looks really quite nice visually. Horseplay is a fantastic mod. It can do pretty much everything in the game, and it is useful for its own purposes. I mean, for doing headlands and whatever, it is fantastic, and it's really useful if you're using the BGA. And if and when I use the BGA on here, I'm going to be dumping the price multiplier. It's currently set at 0.1. I might dump it to, or it's currently set at 1. I might set it to 0.1, so that I have to sell quite a lot of silage to make a profit. Yeah, that's... That's an odd situation. I think it's something to do with the multi-fruit mod. I think it might be hooking into multi-fruit a bit odd. And the fact that it's an open-top spreader is probably causing an issue too. I mean, props to the game for trying to cope with this. And that the Genneborg texture is genuinely quite nice. It's just somehow I've managed to break the texture within the spreader. Yes, this is seeding wheat, I guess. I'm now tempted to try and put seeds into this, but I don't. No, I don't have seeds in my multi-fruit mod. Never mind. And I've seen David Oldfield breaking things by trying to put fertilizer into a seed or so. I don't want to see what happens if I try it the other way around, quite frankly. It would be interesting if you could broadcast seeds like this, do the old style broadcast seeding. But I can completely understand. Yeah, that's... I'm guessing that's something to do with the multi-fruit mod. Or the add fruits mod, which I don't actually need in this map. Yeah, the soil mod textures, but not soil mod. Simulate, you will be wanting Gunamisked Guillemist Calc in that case. It's, if you get the original Coldborough Park Farm, it has GMK in it. You need to download a separate mod for those textures to work, but it gives manure and stuff textures. And it's not soil mod, it just gives the original in-game functions. The reason I use soil mod is just to add challenge, essentially. There's no reason other than it's difficult. But yeah, it's a funky pigeon.com. It's a new way of breaking the game. It is Calc. I think that's how it's spelled. That's how it should be spelled, at least, because that's the actual German spelling. Well, a slightly bastardized spelling, because I don't want to put an umlaut in the U. That, in theory, that's how it's spelled. Anyway, back to the disking. I just wanted to show off the textures, as well as that the texture over here. All this chopped straw is the chopped straw mod, which you may or may not have to put into the map. If you use stubble cultivator mod, you can get the cultivators to just, if I crouch down, you can see there's the cultivated textures underneath the chopped straw. So what it's doing is it's, in theory, chopping up the stubble and laying it out on the ground and screwing with it, and causing the chopped straw texture. I know it's a lot more dense than the stubble is, but that's kind of something you have to deal with. Yeah, this is the cultivator from the Gold Edition DLC, by the way. The Cavernal and Exacta DL. I think it's the Exacta DL. Is it the Exacta DL? What's the name of this cultivator? Cavernal and Qualidisc Farmer 3000. What the hell is the Exacta then? Is that the fertilizer spreader? Exacta E is the fertilizer spreader. Herp-de-derp-de-derp. But yeah, it just takes a bit of if you can pile mods on top of each other, like what I'm doing, because this is an interesting thing where you can pile mods. You going AFK for a bit? I won't be on much longer, Summer. There's only about 15 minutes left in the stream. 15-20 minutes, because there's a video coming up at 5:30. It's currently 4:45, as you can see from the little time on the bottom of the screen. Fahi's still testing the textures by the looks of things. Either that or he's managed to break something. I'll be interested to find out which. Part of me is hoping that I have in fact broken something with those textures being used. Actually, come to think of it, how in the name of God is the fertilizer spreader that is only ever coded to use fertilizer using the wheat texture? How is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing. It's using it. It somehow has access to a texture it's never going to use. Well done, Giants. that's... doesn't even make sense. If everything isn't like the Chrono Ultimate in FS17, you'll be disappointed. Simulate, you're going to be disappointed. I don't think Giants has the ability to make stuff like the Chrono Ultimate Baylor. Now, what I would like to see is something like real terrain in FS17, just for a bit of ground response instead of everything just running over the ground in a very generic manner. I'd love to see something like real terrain or some sort of terrain response being implemented into FS17. I'd like more simulation options. I know Bipolar Prophet's also saying this, that he would also like, because I do watch other people occasionally, BP has been saying that he does want Giants to start getting some Euro Truck and American Truck style sim options in, so that you can customize how realistic your game is. So, like, do you want soil management on? Yes or no? Do you want bale degradation on? Yes or no? Do you want field degradation on? Yes or no? Do you want this on? Yes or no? You want ETS2 style farm sim? I would as well. I would love to have a farm sim where I can say I want it, you know, 100% realistic. Problems on my end, yeah, it's... I'm gonna have to dig through mods again and start testing. In fact, I think I know what mod is causing it. I'm just gonna have a real quick look and just see if one specific mod is installed. Add fill type stat zip, yes. Yeah, add fill type stat zip is the problem mod, because what that does, I am pretty sure, is it adds fill types to a ton of default stuff that it really shouldn't be adding fill types to. Is there anything else that it could be? It could be... It's hardly a multi-fruit config, is it? No, because I don't have seeds 2 in that. Oh, it is... Texture is white. In the Cavernal and Exacta. Sorry, I'm looking at... I'm gonna show my desktop. I'm looking through scripts at the moment and XMLs. So I think the issue is that calc specifically is mentioned in the multi-fruit config XML. Now, if you remember on Nuston, I threw in compost soil into the multi-fruit config XML, and calc is recognized as fertilizer. However, when I threw compost soil into the XML, it started appearing in stuff that shouldn't have been able to hold it, because I put it in as manure, as you can see there. Now, my theory is that it's actually this mod up here, add fill types, that's causing it. Can I read the Lua here? If chaff, forage, barley windrow. Okay. Doesn't seem to be adding all that much to it. But I think the issue is this mod. The add fill types Lua. What does the mod desk say? This script will add forage, mirror, straw, grass silage, and wood chips, any trailer or shovel which doesn't exist. Such. Huh. I think, now looking at this, the issue isn't add fill types, because I was under the impression this added all fill types. Yeah, add fill types is actually just creates a couple of mods. GPS. That's a silage mod. This is fine. This doesn't affect anything. It's gotta be multi-fruit. This has to be the culprit, the multi-fruit module standard. Because that is the only place in any of the mods, sorry, the multi-fruit config, that's the only place in any of the mods I have where calc is specifically mentioned. And for whatever reason, why don't I fill up the spreader again and open up the log? Well, I don't need to fill the spreader again, I can just do this. That Cavernland plough store texture is has a Tuesday in error, which is fine. Trident 200 cutting areas. Okay, so I need to edit the Triton 500 to just throw to change cutting area to work areas. That's fine. 45,000 is apparently good. Adding more fill type, explicit fill type count. Yes. Add fill type is not required for the map. Do you guys have multi-fruit modules? Do you guys have multi-fruit in your mod folders? So I'm trying to figure out what one mod I need to get rid of. It is one mod causing this. It is not a combination. Now it could be add fill types, but I think add fill types just creates. If I go into the shop, I'm still using my desktop capture, so it's a bit wonky. If I go into the shop, if I go over to tippers here, you'll see this guy's appeared. This is from add fill types. As are the 3 extra forage wagons here. These guys are add fill type. The add fill types mod. That just creates mod versions of the original spreaders, or the original forage wagons. You have it in. You have. I think it's because there's the explicit fill type of calc that it's wonking up stuff. Right, let's go problem solving. Where's the New Holland? Okay, so I used that trigger there that has calc as a fill type. Let's just reverse back a bit, because this is... You have multi-fruit. Okay, let's... What the hell? Something's not right there. I'm gonna have to look up the log properly here. Something is not right in this. Do. Do I have the seed master? Yeah. But that shouldn't... because hopefully if I tested this on the Coldborough map, hopefully if I tested on Coldborough at least. If you didn't, I'll ask you to test again on Coldborough. I am checking chat while I'm scrolling through this, and I do apologise for it being so quiet. Oh, I've just spotted there's actually an error in the map still. There's a missing particle system. I do apologise. It won't be something to do with Gutamisk Calc, I know that much. It won't be a GMK issue, it'll be soil mod. And quite potentially something to do with this map specifically. And the irritating thing is the only thing I'm seeing is its calc is showing up. By the way, this is the entire growth cycle. Showing you what happens at every percentage point of soil mod. What on earth is going on here anyway? Okay, so there's the spreader coming in. So C users, me, Steam apps, common, Farming Simulator 15, PDLC, Gold Pack, Cavernland, Exacta EL, i3D, and then it adds the fill types, and there's no error. That's what's confusing, is I haven't done anything to break that. That's what I was saying earlier on. It shouldn't have access to that. It shouldn't have access to that texture at all. Except multifruit causes any unknown heaps that aren't by default in the game to show up as wheat. It installs... Okay, so I'm going to run through this as quickly as I possibly can. So multifruit config over here. All this stuff, most of it isn't in the game by default, so silage and forage do technically exist in the game. Sunflower, soybean, rice, oat, rye, hemp, millet, dinkel, triticale, mown, green wheat, millet, windrow, triticale, windrow, millet, windrow, for some reason is in there twice, okay. Dinkel, windrow, oat, rye, and hemp windrows do not exist. Calc does not exist by default. It has to be added to the mod, whatever mod it is. Wood chip does not does exist by default, but it's only used in specific ones. Manure, yeah. Grass. You know, this adds extra fill touch. I think the issue lies with multi-fruit being in this map. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save the game and quit the game and I'm gonna that's a clear save game. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close out of that, close that, and open mods and just close all of these. So this is me properly just doing some testing here. Let's just open. Yeah, let's open the desk one in a new window. Mods, and I'll go down to multi-fruit and get rid of it temporarily. Because they are the likely culprits. Okay, so that's multi-fruit out of the mod folder. Which means now everything can only carry what it's supposed to. It means multi-fruit was the issue. Because multi-fruit, I have noticed, mucks up seeders as well. It puts all the fill types on a map into everything. And I do realize I'm going over time, but now this is essentially mod testing now. Okay, so let's find out, because this is full. Culprit has been found. And the culprit was multi-fruit, which conveniently I don't actually need for this map. If I were to install multi-fruit, I'd have to get rid of calc references out of the multi-fruit mod, which is fine. But that's not really an issue. I can throw seeds too into any mods that I want. I can throw references to whatever fill types I want into whatever I want. As long as it's a mod and not DLC, I can do it. So yeah, that's turn mods off without deleting. That's something that's in ETS or ATS. You can just switch mods on and off. It's really helpful for testing stuff like this instead of having to restart the bloody game every time. But yeah, consider that a warning, I guess. If you're using multi-fruit on any map that has soil mod and calc, because that's a remnant of the original GMK, I will admit. It causes issues and makes everything appear in your fertilizer spreader as wheat. Removing multi-fruit removes that issue. And you get the nice pellets. Also, to answer a question I was asked, no, they do not change colour. I'm gonna call that a success. That I found the issue essentially through the process of elimination. Because that was the only mod I had that installed new fill planes into stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna probably keep Farm Sim running and do some. No, I need to. I don't even need to say it again. So I'm going to leave the stream here. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. GMT, so 3 hours before, 21 hours from now. I will be back. No, 21 hours from now. I'll be back. Sorry, my maths is not working today. And until then, stay safe and goodbye. Tomorrow is Project Hell. There's a Project Hell. No, sorry. Yes, there's a Project Hell lap coming up at in 20 minutes time. Until then, stay safe and goodbye. And for those of you who have the same issue,